Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who is listening in the podcast. And once again, I just ask that you follow me on Spotify. Also, Spotify, feel free to leave a review, and also don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. I wanted to come here and make this video, guys, regarding the Halyna Hutchins a tragic death that happened in October of 2021. We all know this happened in it happened in New Mexico, I believe, during the filming of the movie Rust, where they had Alec Baldwin as the main director, I guess you can say producer of the movie, and actor. And also they had Halyna Hutchins, right, as a videographer. Uh, I'm going to speak about um, the other director. His name was Souza, who also was shot during this incident. And we all know about Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer for this movie set. That, I guess you can say, in case you don't know the story, right? Like I said, it happened in 2021 October. They had a lot of issues during the filming of this movie Rust. And I believe now, after following this case for so many years, I mean for all this time since 2021, and like going and seeing the trial for Hannah Gutierrez and following the trial for Alec Baldwin, like you learn so much how much issues they had in the set, right? It's almost like sometimes, you look at when you create projects and things like that, and you see sometimes things are not working out, or you hear a lot of complaints, or there's a safety concern. Sometimes things are not meant to be. And when you see alerts, red flags like that, it's for you as sometimes you can be like, you know what, let's move location, let's do something, because it seems as though everything has been set up for failure. And like I said to you guys many times, it just takes one human error for somebody to have their life impacted permanently, right? Somebody not doing their job right can impact the life of someone permanently. It could be, I mean, we can go on and on about example, but in this case, we all know that there were live shooting rounds in this movie set that is very rare for it to happen, right? And then my big point about making videos about this case is not only how Halyna Hutchins lost her life, and but I always wonder, how is it that a veteran actor like Alec Baldwin is handed a gun that he's fully trusting the armorer and the prep person, I guess you can say, to do their work, right? But like, I always wonder, like, errors like this would make more sense if it would have happened to like a person who's like, oh yeah, this is my first movie. But like veteran actor Alec Baldwin, who knows that if there's, and like, you already know that everybody on set seems like, they're very new at what they're doing, right? And the armorer, people were, perhaps complaining about her and saying how she left her car where she carried all her props and bullets and things like that. Like she will leave it like in a place people have access to it, right? They said this during the trial. And like anybody can go mess with that, right? So you seeing all of that and you being very aware of what happens in a movie set, like, it would be like a red flag as a veteran actor to be like, let me check this gun right before, the young kid who's handling the gun seems like this is her first big movie. Let me just make sure everything's good before I continue. That's what I would expect with somebody like Alec Baldwin to basically kind of go the extra step. Regardless, I mean, they can tell me 50 times it's good to go. um, like at the end of the day, he's the one who was holding that gun, right? So it's just crazy. So now, Halyna Hutchins, the other thing with her, right, that really still impacted me is that the way the video was released of her being shot, and her last words, I guess you can say, what she was saying, how what they were saying to her too. Like, she just went there to do her job, and like, and now she's gone. She's been gone. She had a boy. She had a husband. She had a young kid. That's what I meant to say. And she had her husband, and like, probably all the planning that went on for her to be away from home for that long, and like talking to her child, doing FaceTime or something, and like, like, you go on her Instagram and you can kind of know a little bit about who she was, and it's like, wow, life, anything can happen, right? Like I said, it could take just one person not doing their job right. And like I said, these days, guys, people are just so busy on their phones, so distracted, just working just to get a paycheck. They don't care. There's a lot of I don't care at work. It's not my job, this and the other. It can happen. Somebody who's not doing their job right, and I think that's why in the Bible it says about when you work, make sure like it shows that you're like, I'm not saying word by word because I don't remember the verse, but there's a verse in the Bible that speaks about when you're working to do it to honor the Lord, right? Imagine like a pharmacist who mess up a prescription. Imagine, like, I hear about doctors who get lawsuits because they're operating on the wrong leg or the wrong something. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You have somebody who's vulnerable, who's there expecting somebody to do their job right. And like, even if you're paying them the money, they're still mess it up, right? I understand 100% we're humans and we make mistakes, but you have to be honest and realize that these days people are just doing their job. Just, everybody's so busy, Are you driving around 8 in the morning? Everybody's just, even on a regular Sunday day, like, people have no patience whatsoever. Like, even driving on a Sunday, you think people are just a little more mellow and calmer, and like, it's crazy. Tailgating is in a different level these days, guys. So Joe Souza was also a director in the movie Rust, and when Alec Baldwin pulled the gun when they were doing that shot, Joe Souza, I guess he was standing kind of like behind Halyna, and that bullet not only shot Halyna, it went through Halyna, and also shot Joe Souza in the arm. So he also got hurt. Thanks to God, he survived. But he's speaking about the whole thing now. Finally, Hannah Gutierrez Reed is in jail right now, begging for her to be out. Somebody needs to be held accountable. I don't know what these people are thinking, right? Yes, you made a mistake, but you still have to face the consequences, okay? Um, Alec Baldwin, like, my opinion about the whole thing with him might have had changed a little bit after learning about more about it. But, it's almost like I know that his job in that movie was just to be an actor. And I think he's a producer too, right? Basically, he doesn't, he's a producer. He's not really dealing with the armorer part of the movie. That's why they hire Hannah. But it's still like, you would expect somebody to, somebody with that resume as Alec Baldwin to have some type of, it's just common sense to be like, man, everybody seems so new here. And knowing that his life would have been impacted, it has been already impacted permanently also by an error, and he knew the crew, he knew what was happening, he knew the safety concerns, right? Like I said, he was a producer in the movie. Like, I expected him to kind of like do a double check type of thing, knowing what was happening already in the set. He heard the complaints, right? He was part of the people. He didn't just go there to clock in as a senator and leave. If the crew was complaining about hotel concerns, safety concerns, right? Well, hotels. I mean, like, they were complaining they didn't like their hotel rooms or something. And some of them had to switch or something. If that was a complaint, and then people were saying Hannah seems, like, it was like her big thing, but she really hadn't had that experience. I understand that Hannah Gutierrez Reed's father has a big um, career in Hollywood when it comes to being an armorer. So I'm sure she got inspired by him and all of that. That doesn't mean that she comes with the experience. She comes with the admiration, I guess you can say, of seeing her dad do so much and being inspired by that. But that doesn't mean, it's a whole different, you can't even compare the two. So, if seeing all of that, Alec Baldwin being the producer, I would have expected him to be a little more careful, right? Um, but his case got dismissed. So Joe Souza is speaking about it, and this is what he said, guys, right? Ross director Joe Souza is opening up about the indie western production during he was shot, and cinematographer, that was her part in the movie Halyna, was killed when the prop gun handled by star Alec Baldwin was discharged on October 21st, 2021, right? Souza spoke and he said that the project, um, he said the filmmaker was asked whether he feels justice has been done, and now that the armorer Hannah Gutierrez was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 18 months in jail. This is why she wants to get out, because she's like, they dismissed the case of Alec Baldwin. Why can they basically do that to me? Like, that was like, how can she even think that she has nothing to do with it? Like, let's just assume that somebody put their lives around there. They saw an opportunity and said, man, this girl, for her to leave her car anywhere and let people have access to it, like, she's very kind of like naive and new to this. So let's do something crazy, right? Let's just say somebody did that. That could have happened. That's probably what happened. But God sees everything. Everything's gonna come to light. At the end of the day, for Hannah to be like asking for like, get me out of here, like, at the end of the day, she should have had done her job and take safety more seriously. For her to just hand a gun and be like, yeah, it's good, you're good, and not going that extra step to check it. So it says here that Hannah got 18 months and Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter, but his case was dismissed. This is what Joe Souza said. I don't know, and I don't know what that even is anymore regarding the serve justice. He said, I will be very honest with you about that. He said, whether justice was served, no one feels good about someone going to jail. And that really stayed with me, because for him to say that, even though after everything that happened, like, that says something regarding to me. Like, for Joe Souza being in that crew and to see everything that has happened, and for him to say nobody feels good about somebody going to jail, it's almost like there is some type of sympathy in that comment regarding Hannah Gutierrez Reed. And it's almost like, man, you know, was that her intention for that to happen? Probably not. Was she careless? Yes, right? And for Joel Sosa to now say that, it says to me that he feels some type of sympathy for Hannah, probably because he knows how she was in the set and being work with her, and probably who knows, Halyna was probably cool with Hannah too. Somebody within that crew made the effort to steer the path, I guess you can say, and saw an opportunity, right, and impacted all these people's life permanently. Like, it's crazy. But it says here, regarding who he blames for what happened, Souza replied, I think it would be disingenuous and lunacy to say that people didn't screw up things. He said, I don't think anyone will ever allege that anything was intentional. But when there are matters of things like ammunition and guns and safety, um, he uses a slander word here, but he said you don't play with that. Basically, you just don't. And so the armorer had to answer for her role in that, and then Dave chose to answer for that. He added, "The live bullet got put in the gun. It was a horrible mistake to make, and Hannah is now living with the consequences of that mistake. Everything that happened was born out of that scene, out of that moment, that single act. It was put the rest into motion." Most of the cast joined Souza in Montana to finish the film when it resumed in April 2023, and the movie is now complete. Has now been completed. I didn't even know that they finished the movie. It says here the director said that some foreign territories have been sold for the movie, but it has not been shopped for domestic distribution. Souza explained that he initially was not planning to finish the movie, but he did it so in order for Hutchins' husband, Matt Hutchins, who is now a producer on Rust, to benefit financially. Souza recalled initially feeling that he did not want to survive being shot, but he said that after time he was grateful to be alive, and he knew he wanted Halyna Hutchins' final word to be seen. So, that's, I'm glad that he spoke, because that's good to know. When, for them, I heard about Alec Baldwin wanting to finish the movie. I was like, please, don't even try. But like I see a different side of that. That's good that they finish it, and I understand where Joe is coming from. Like, he wanted for Halyna Hutchins' last word to be seen, and for the husband to benefit from that. Like I said, she has a boy too, so I'm glad that they did that. During the interview, Souza said that he and Baldwin have been known each other since 2015 and had a very good relationship before working on Ross. Souza recalled that he and the star had differences of opinion surrounding Baldwin's character prior to the firearm discharge. Upon resuming production, Souza said he was clear with Baldwin that he did not want his vision for the project to be questioned. As far as working with Baldwin to finish the film after Hutchins' death, Souza said getting through it was tough. We got through it. I got the performance I wanted. We're not friends. We're not enemies. There's no relationship. So, wow. So that must have been a very awkward moment for them to get back all together to finish it. I'm sure it took a lot from everybody, right? Wow. So, it's interesting. So now they're no longer friends. He says that Souza said he doesn't know if Baldwin acted recklessly or if the actor should have done more to examine the prop gun, which is what I'm coming from, right? You're talking about a person who's a veteran in the field, and he knew what was happening in that set. So because of that, it makes you wonder, man, like, somebody wanted to definitely do something really bad here, and they saw an opportunity, but and like if there was some type of difference of opinion here from Baldwin and Joe Souza, like, like our mind can go crazy. But like I said, everything comes to light, you guys. Everything comes to light. But I just feel like, knowing Alec Baldwin, knowing that if Hannah Gutierrez make a mistake, like it would have make him, like, I understand that he could easily just blame her. Right now, she's the one basically being held accountable for it. But it's like he should have had checked. He knew how she worked. Everybody knew in that set that Hannah was not like an experienced armorer, even though they're shooting a movie about, about stuff like that. So it's like, wow, talk about cutting costs, right? So they knew how she was. They knew how careless she was, I guess you can say, by leaving the car unattended. Oh yeah, let's go to lunch and come. Like it happened right after lunch. So like somebody used the opportunity, right, to do something so harming like that. And look what it got all these people involved. Look what it got them. And how impacted Halyna and Halyna's family is crazy. Like I said, people are just, the lack of empathy is so visible these days, guys. There is an argument that says if he checks and starts fiddling around with it, he's creating a safety issue, Souza said. And it says here, and then there's another thing that says it's common sense. Be careful. So I don't know anymore. To be honest with you, the charges got filed. That's what they decided to do. Was he overcharged? I don't know, that he's saying. Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions, right? I guess, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, no matter who you can convince, you think that life is just moving forward for you, but God, so whoever is responsible for placing that, right? Whoever is responsible, whoever did that, like God saw what you did and how everybody, got impacted by it. And just because the time passes doesn't mean that one day God is gonna come knocking at your door. Like, I was just actually just was reading a Proverbs verse where it say, "No, whoever bears false witness will not go unpunished." So creating a lie and refusing to say anything about placing a live bullet, using, I guess, undermining, right, the experience of Hannah Gutierrez, right, and seeing an opening to impact their career, the life of the people on set, the safety, and putting the live rounds, and think just because, nobody saw anything, there's no cameras, there's no video, and think that, like, one day that's gonna come back. And like, people play with fire. That's the reason that I'm laughing, guys. It's like people just play along and they think they're just gonna go on. Like, everything will be exposed. So let me know, guys, what you think about this this case. It's so sad. I remember learning about what happened and I was like, oh wow, how can, that's so crazy. And then I didn't like that. To be honest, I didn't like that they released the video of Halyna. Like, we don't need to see everything. Come on, like, she has a kid, and there's no need to that would have. There wasn't a need for that to be released. There wasn't a need for Alec Baldwin to be saying, he doesn't feel guilty or something in that interview that he did in December. I don't know if he was 23 or 22. He's saying he didn't have no remorse or something. Like, at the end of the day, like, that should be like, oh my goodness. Even if, like, it wasn't your intention. And at the end of the day, he was the one who held that gun and that fire. And now that, Halyna is no longer here. Like, anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel and listening in the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.